products, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine and such. Magnesium ascorbate, if you're talking about vitamin C, you can actually get something called magnesium ascorbate, which is a combination of magnesium and vitamin C, and they do work together.
The best because of my health situation.
Liquid magnesium is probably the best, but Beyond OsteoFX or some other
magnesium.
Liquid magnesium. Liquid magnesium. Oh, it doesn't really. If it's in a liquid form, that doesn't make too much of a difference. Once it's in a liquid form, as long as it's in a liquid form, you can use magnesium. I think the Beyond OsteoFX might be magnesium citrate. I'm not sure. Citrate's a good one too, by the way. Citrate, calcium citrate, magnesium citrate, citrate salts they call them, are also very well absorbed and handled by the body. So is orotate. So is aspartate. We should talk about that a little bit. The second word after a mineral will tell you how well that mineral is handled by the body. So orotates, magnesium orotate, those are handled by that's handled by the body well. Magnesium citrate is handled by the body well. The ones that are handled less effectively are things like magnesium oxide, magnesium gluconate, magnesium sulfate. Those are handled by the body less effectively than magnesium citrate and orotate, and also colloidal magnesium. The best way to get magnesium, Rose, you know what the best way, all-time best way? Eat your green veggies. Green veggie juices, and lots of them.
In my case, I will have to use them because, I lost my stomach, Okay, thanks a lot. I will
Thank you, Rose. Okay, take care, Rose. Say hi to Steve. Thank you. Have a great day.
Good for you. Bye.
Take care. Okay, John, what's up, man? John in Michigan. Welcome to the bright side.
Yes, Ben. Real quick, a friend says she has high arsenic, and then my grandson is breaking out. He's 7 months old with red. They call it eczema, maybe, but he's being just nursed by his mother. And
how old is he? How old's the grandson?
He's 7 months old, and he's
okay. Food allergies in mom. Number one, mom's food allergies. When mom's nursing and the kid has a skin problem, you're looking at a food allergy in the mom, and then allergic kinds of chemicals get in the milk, and then the kid reacts. It could also be a digestive problem. The kid, if the kid is eating, but in your case, the kid is just being breastfed. So look at the mom. Look at the mom is the culprit. You might also want to make sure mom, in addition to controlling her food allergies and staying away from foods she has problems with, dairy is usually a culprit, and gluten can be a problem too. Soy sometimes. In addition, have the mom make sure she's getting enough essential fatty acids. Get her on the ultimate EFAs. So her breast milk has these essential fats that are important for building the skin barrier. And then make sure mom is also doing zinc, 50 milligrams a day of zinc, picolinate. Okay. That'll get the kid some zinc as well. And then also make sure mom is getting her fatty vitamins, her vitamins A, D, E, and K. D from the sun, A, D, E, and K. 20,000 IU of A. Have her out in the sun to get her vitamin D. Make sure she's doing a little fish oil also. That could help with her vitamin D. It also will help with the baby. And then E and K are also important, but not like A and D. E, maybe 400 IU a day, and then vitamin K2, anywhere from 1,000 to 5,000 micrograms a day. Zinc, your fatty vitamins, essential fatty acids, both omega-6s and omega-3s, by the way, and you'll get those in the ultimate EFAs. And have mom make sure she's avoiding any food allergens or food toxins. Last but not least, make sure mom is using her Biolumin Nightly Essence, so the baby's going to get some good bacteria. Good bacteria, probiotics in the gut are extremely important for skin health, especially if you have eczema. As far as the arsenic goes, think chelation. What makes her think she's got too high arsenic, John?
I don't know. I don't know how she was tested, but she just said she had...
Okay, I don't know. That sounds kind of...
What about clay? What about
Clay's
clay?
Great. Clay is great. Bentonite clay, zeolite, something called NaC, N-acetylcysteine, selenium, MSM sulfur, and vitamin C. All have wonderful chelation properties. Coming back with Greg. Thanks, John. Appreciate your call. Coming back with Greg Birch from the Flavors Radio program right after this break. Don't go away. Back on the bright side, we got a guest, Greg Birch, who is the host of the Flavors Radio program. He's a chef, and he's involved in food manufacturing. We're going to talk a little bit about food with Greg Birch of the Flavors Radio program on KSCO in Santa Cruz. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, young man. How are you today?
Good to talk to you on the air. I didn't get your bio, so why don't you give us a little, just the short version. Let me ask you a couple questions about food and flavors and energy bars. I definitely want to talk to you a little bit about energy bars this morning, but tell the listeners a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, started at an early age in food. Worked for a caterer when I was just a lad. opened up my own catering company, and that turned into food manufacturing by just kind of a quirk of nature. I did a Christmas party for a well-known market chain, and it all started from there. And I went from my company from just starting scratch, so zero, up to about $14 million a year before I sold out and moved up to Northern California.
Now, where are you from originally?
Los Angeles.
LA,
I grew up in Orange County, cut my business teeth in LA, and then moved up here and got a little away from the business. But my wife and I, Marlene, we would do charity dinners. So we still do charity dinners up here, and we always have a lot of fun with those.
Now,
Food manufacturing's in my blood. I know the equipment. I know the process, and I take food from a concept all the way to market, whether it's to your local markets or whether it's to food service, which is a completely different realm, which most people just don't seem to realize.
but you're not just a manufacturer. You're on your farm right now. I can hear dogs barking in the background.
Yeah,
So are you actually growing food? Are you growing stuff?
No, I'm growing Labrador retrievers.
Okay.
No, we just bought this property, and it overlooks Monterey Bay. Beautiful, beautiful thing. My wife and I both kind of grew up in the suburbia city landscape, so we wanted the country and nice and quiet. Let me tell everybody, farms are not quiet.
I can tell. I hear it.
Yeah,
so you're not just, you got a radio program, so there's something you want people to know about food, apparently, correct?
Well, yeah. I mean, Marlene and I, we host Flavors on Sundays from noon to 2 on KSCO, and it's all about good food, good living, because we always, besides the health issues, which is big, big, big now, there's, when it comes to hospitality, there's always a food element, somewhere, either a food or beverage element in there, and which just turns the whole hospitality experience into something special. So we try to promote that through chefs, wineries, cookbooks, and pretty much anything you can think of that has to do with the hospitality industry that connects with food and beverage.
Now, it seems to be there's sort of like this binary idea about food, that it's either good food or it's good food or it's bad food. Like some people are foodies, they love food, they'll eat all kinds of food. Other people stay away from food or have a kind of this love-hate relationship with food. But you can eat well and eat healthily. Eat healthily too.
Yeah, you can eat fantastic. I mean, everything in moderation. I mean, when you're
everything,
you start feeling,
everything,
pardon
Greg?
me?
Everything, because there's some crappy food out there. Twinkies in moderation.
Well, not everything.
Okay.
There are certain things that you shouldn't be eating at all. A lot of times when people give me a call saying, I want to take my product to market, and I'll look at their ingredients and I'll say, oh, you can't have that in there anymore. They're back in the old days. Especially like with Asian food, you would have products in there. Yes, MSG, which is just a big red flag. You might as well say DDT these days.
They don't call it MSG, though. They call it natural flavoring, right?
Well, a lot of labels will still say MSG on it.
Really?
You go into your, especially your ethnic stores, and I don't know if they have a real problem with it or not, but I know I do. I want to make sure that the products that I put out are the tastiest and the healthiest now that I can provide. Back in the old days, maybe that wasn't so true. Back in my, I'm in my 50s now. Back in my 20s, it was that I'd have people say, "Oh, are your products low cal?" And I'd say, "All my products are low cal. They're all made in Lower California." That was the running joke. Not so much a joke anymore. As you get older and things pop up, you really start taking a second look at things that are going on now. We're talking about all the way back from the 70s and 80s, where health was an issue, but nowhere near the degree it is now. So what I like to look at is I'll look at a label and I'll see what's in the label, whether or not it's, or not even a label, but their recipe. And a lot of times they'll hand me a recipe. I say, okay, I got to convert this into a formula. And they go, well, what do you mean a formula? And I said, well, it doesn't always compute out that if you're making a little, a pint or a quart of a salad dressing, but now I'm going to convert it into, somewhere like 100 or 200 gallon batch at one time. That's a formula, and it just doesn't convert 1-to-1. You would think it should, but it doesn't.
You sound like a food scientist. You sound like you're in the laboratory making stuff. Is that right?
A lot of times I will be in a laboratory actually putting these things together and trying them out. And, because of my knowledge and my experience, I'll say we get very, very close the first or second time out. But for somebody that says, oh, yeah, I knew somebody that used to go somewhere and go, yeah, got it.
So what are some good, we always hear about fresh food, right? Fresh fruits, fresh vegetables. What are some good processed foods, laboratory kinds of foods that you would recommend in terms of, not just in terms of taste, but in terms of health?
Your grains. Your grains are probably the best source for that. You get into beans and things like that. You get into products where, especially like with salad dressings and things like that, your oils can be a good source for health.
What kind of oils do you like?
I like flaxseed oil myself.
Even for processing?
Well, you're not with flaxseed oil. You're not really processed. Usually when I say processing, there's a heat element involved.
So can you heat flaxseed oil?
You can. I don't. Because flaxseed oil, like fish oil, with, it's great omega-3, omega-6 fatty acids in it. You don't want to... fish oil seems to be, from what I've studied and what I know, seems to be the best oil to consume. But as soon as the fish dies, that oil
breaks down.
Rancid.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it breaks down.
Yeah, it starts to break down.
With the flaxseed
Greg,
oil...
you got to hold that thought, Greg. We got to take a commercial break. Hang on to that thought, okay? Don't go away. All right. We're talking to Greg Birch of the Flavors Radio program on KSCO. I'm going to ask Greg about his favorite processed product that Greg Birch of the Flavors Radio program. Greg is a food manufacturer, chef, and businessman and farmer now, I guess. Right, Greg? Are you a farmer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I live out on a farm. I won't call myself a farmer. But
All right.
It's a lot of fun, and it's actually most of the time it's very relaxing. This morning doesn't seem to be that way.
All right.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, Greg.
What I wanted to tell your listeners was part of the food manufacturing quandary that we have for people like myself that do this is that there's always the element of shelf life. We need to make sure that the product, it's got to taste good. It's got to have all the benchmarks that we want to set for this product, whatever the product might be. But if it doesn't have a shelf life, then the product can't get out on the market. I mean, there's certain things that you can make at home that go, oh, my word, this is so delicious. This should be out on the market. Well, in reality, it probably can't be because of the shelf life. So
how do you balance out preservation with the need for the problems with preservation with the need for shelf life?
Well, in the old days, preservatives, I mean, there were, I would buy my preservatives from Dow Chemical, and scary stuff. A one quart jar back, I mean, we're talking about late 70s, would cost over $800 for a 1 quart jar of this chemical of preservative.
What do you know what it was? Do you remember the chemical?
back. I remember we would do 500-pound batches of dough for rugala, and I would